Right. Welcome back to Savanna Techie. I'm your host, Rafael Ndwiga. If you're new to the channel, kindly give me your support by subscribing and sharing it with your peers if you find the material helpful to you. In this video, we are going to look at installing VirtualBox and Vagrant on Windows. Okay. So now, to start off, I'm working from Windows, and the Windows that I'm working from is, give me a moment, launches. I'm working from Windows 10 Pro. Okay, my processor is an i3 machine with a processor speed of 1.7 gigahertz, and my RAM is 4 GB. And I'm running the Windows is a 64-bit operating system. Also, you can see I have sufficient disk space. I have around 11, almost 100 GB free. And when you're working with Vagrant and VirtualBox, and you're creating virtual machines, you need sufficient disk space for the virtual machines to be created and for you to be able to work from them. So it's critical that you have a look at how much disk space you have, and yeah, to have a look at what kind of disk space you do have. So have enough, around 30, 40 gigs are fine. They'll do well. Now, on introduction, you'll see that we're looking at installing VirtualBox and Vagrant on Windows. Vagrant takes the cloud, and through virtualization, it puts it on anyone's desktop. So from two commands, you're able to Vagrant init and Vagrant app. It automatically builds and configures a full sandbox virtual machine. Okay. The learning objectives of this video is knowing what VirtualBox is. The reader don't know. They're looking at what Vagrant is, hardware requirements in terms of hard drive, virtualization, and RAM, how to install VirtualBox and Vagrant, and how to run Vagrant on Windows. So we have already looked at hardware requirements. That is, you need to have at least 30 or so gigs. RAM 4 GB should be sufficient, but more is recommended if you are to run multiple VMs at the same time, because a VM will take an average of 1 gig for it to be run. Okay, but if you're using Vagrant, you can also be able to dictate how much RAM is assigned uh, to a box. So now, what's Vagrant? According to Wikipedia, Vagrant is an open source software product for building and maintaining portable virtual software development environment. And it runs on top of VirtualBox, KVM, hypervisor, Hyper-V, Docker containers, VMware, and even it runs also on AWS. So Vagrant is is key for harmonizing the development environment when you're building software solutions. So you can be building software on Windows, on Mac, on Linux, and through the use of Vagrant, it will be able to harmonize all the dependencies and requirements required to run the software that you're currently building. And VirtualBox is a Type 2 hypervisor, and it was originally created by Inotech, which was acquired by Sun Microsystem back in 2008, and then acquired by Oracle. So it's popular nowadays, popularly known as Oracle VM VirtualBox. Now, so how do we begin the installation? So you can get VirtualBox from Oracle. Okay, so I'll include this link of this resource on the video description. So you can get VirtualBox from here. Okay, so you can come here and get the installer for your operating system, whether it's Windows, Mac, or Solaris, or Linux. So you can go to come here and click on the installer. So already I have it, and you can get Vagrant. You can get Vagrant from Vagrant app, the website. Then under the downloads section, so you can get Vagrant for macOS, Linux, Windows, Linux, Debian, CentOS, or Arch Linux. So I run Windows 10 Pro, a 64-bit. So you can be able to get the 64-bit or the 86 version. So already have the 64-bit version of Vagrant. Okay, and then another resource we need is the VirtualBox Extension Pack. So from the from Oracle site, you can also get the extension pack. Okay, so here the extension pack, you can go to click and download it. Already have it, or you can just basically use this link and get the extension pack. So the extension pack can be used for any platform, whether it's Mac, Linux, or Windows. So yeah, now to begin the installation process, I'll go to where my software has been downloaded. It's in downloads. So I'll begin by the installation of VirtualBox. So double click, begin the installation process. So say yes there, and then once the installer launches, I'll click next and agree to all the defaults. Okay, and then I say start the installer process. So currently doing the installation. So as it's completing, we'll also start the installation process of Vagrant. I downloaded my Vagrant from I've already downloaded Vagrant. It's here. So I'll also double click on it. So here, VirtualBox already finished the installation. So I can just leave it at default so that it launches. It launches it. Vagrant has already begun the installation process. It's computing the space requirement. If enough space is not there, then I can be able to, it will inform me of that. So I'll agree to the terms and conditions, then go next, next, and then click on install. So when you see this particular shield, this shield basically means that it will ask you for additional permissions, the administrator position for you to install Vagrant. So click on that. So you can see the setup wizard begin to install. Here are the permissions. So give it yes. Complete the space requirement again to repeat that particular process, and the setup process will start. Now, as this is continuing, I'll go back to VirtualBox. Okay, and what I will do is I want to install the extension pack. So I'll click there, and then I'll go to preferences, and then under preferences I go to extensions. Because you don't have extensions here, then I'll click on this button to add a new package, the extension package, and I will select that particular extension package, double click on it, and then also click on install. So I'll scroll to the bottom and then click on agree. Going to start the installation, to start the VirtualBox to install the extension pack. You can see that installation is complete, so click OK, and you can see here it's marked as active, so also click OK. Now, VirtualBox can be used not only for enabling you to run Vagrant, but also to create your own virtual machines. Virtual machines are good when you want to take to test out how an operating system works for you. So to do that, you can both click here on New and then name the name of the machine that you want to give it. Then this is where you can both select where the files for that particular OS will be stored. Then you can both select the type of Windows. So you can see here, say the type is either Windows, Linux, Solaris, or even Mac OS. And when you select that, based on the OS that you have downloaded, then you can also select the version. So there are a multitude of plethora of versions. You can select which one is appropriate. Okay, so you can see we have from Windows 3.1 to Windows 11, and then if at all it's another kind of Windows, you can either select if it's 32-bit or 64-bit. And then if at all it's a Linux you want to install, you can select Linux. And then on the version, you can select which kind of Linux you are doing the installation for. You want to installation, or you want to virtualize. So it's whether is it an Ubuntu 32-bit, 64-bit, or is it a Red Hat? Is it an Oracle? Is it Fedora? Is it Debian? Or is it a Linux? So you can be able to go through the process. So I'm not interested right now in using the VirtualBox for any other purpose apart from Vagrant. So just click on cancel. Also even close this, and you can see Vagrant is still installing. Now another thing that you may require is if your machine doesn't have OpenSSH installed, you can get you can use Cwine. So Cwine, you can get it from Cwine. Cwine. Okay, you can look it up and click this. So I'll open it on a new link on a new tab. So I'll hold Control key on my keyboard and then click it. Open on a new tab, Cwine, and then from here I'll click on Install Cwine and get that installer. So already I have it. So what I will do is that I'll just launch it. Cwine. Okay, just a moment. So here, Cwine. So Cwine launches a terminal, or you can. So this launches the terminal. Going to install the packages. Then once you download it, you can just double click on the setup. And once you double click on the setup, um, click yes. And click yes, go next. And then say install from the internet, then next. That's where the Cwine will be installed. And then next, then next, next. It will get me a list of mirrors from where to get the rest of the packages. So I can select one randomly. So I can say I want to get it from there, from that mirror, from the download site. Then click next. It will pull all the packages that are currently hosted by this mirror. And you can see here the architecture of the packages hosted in this mirror are before the 2-bit architecture packages, but they can also be run on 64-bit. When that one is done, I can search for OpenSSH. So just type SSH. Okay. Then I'll hit enter. Here I'll just say I want full. On this view, I'll click full. I want SSH. And SSH, I want OpenSSH here. So I'll click that one. had already installed, so keep, or I can just select just reinstall to show you the process. And then I've already on your case you'll have here various versions. Pick the latest version. So in my case, I'll just say reinstall and then check that particular box, click next. It will list for me the software that it will do the installations, then say next, and you start the download and installation process. So this is just to ensure that you have OpenSSH installed on your machine. Then, okay, so you can see Vagrant is still taking a little bit of some time for the installation. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this video and then get back once the installation process is complete for Vagrant. Yeah, for Vagrant, you can see for C1 has already completed. You can say add it in context menu and then click finish. So now we have OpenSSH installed on our machine. So OpenSSH is good, is required when you want to SSH inside I created Vagrant box. So when you want to SSH inside and create a Vagrant box, you need OpenSSH installed on your machine. So go right ahead and pause this video and come back once the installation process is complete. Right, so Vagrant has finished the installation, so I'll click on finish, and it's requesting that I reboot or restart my machine. So I'll click yes, and once the installation the reboot process is done, we'll get back to the rest of the setup. All right, welcome back. My machine has finished rebooting, so next thing that we'll do is we have already installed Vagrant. We have already installed a VirtualBox together with its extension pack. So what I'll do is that I'll come here to documents. Now to get started with Vagrant, I'll create a folder. I'll call it Savanna Techie. Okay, just to be able to organize my work. And then I'll also create another folder, call it uh, Vagrant tutorials. Okay, then navigate inside it, and then I'll right click, open in PowerShell. So if you don't have PowerShell in the context menu, kindly check on the description or the link I'll provide a link on how to add PowerShell in a context menu if you want to have it in a context menu. If not, then you can still launch PowerShell from Windows and then just type PowerShell. Okay, you can launch it also this way, and it will still do the same thing of launching PowerShell for your use. Okay, so I've launched mine from the context menu. Now to begin using Vagrant, issue the command Vagrant space then init. What Vagrant will do is that it's going to create a configuration file, a Vagrant config file. So Vagrant config file on the directory where you have launched in the current working directory. So my current working directory is called Vagrant tutorials. So the PowerShell is taking a little bit of some time to run the command. Okay. So the Vagrant init command has finished running. and you can see it tells you that the Vagrant file has been placed in this directory, and you can run Vagrant app for your first virtual environment. So if I open this file, and let me open it with Notepad. So I will drag this file there, and you can see this is the Vagrant file. Okay, it has a bunch of customization to it, and here the box is just has base. Okay, so now what I just don't want to get just the base. I want to get a specific a specific box to run. So I'm going to copy this, okay, and I'm going to open that link on a new tab. Once there, I'm going to look for Ubuntu 64. So just type Ubuntu, and I'm interested with VirtualBox Provider. So just type Ubuntu here, and under Ubuntu, I'm looking for the Ubuntu 20. Okay, so scroll down. Here you can be able to use any of these boxes. I'm just being particular on what box I want. This is Ubuntu 18, not that one. I'll scroll down, and this is the Ubuntu. This is the Ubuntu. So I'll click on it, and you can see here I can add the box on the Vagrant configuration file. I can add this. Since I already have the configuration file, so I can copy this, and then here under the VM box, I'll replace base with a string of Ubuntu / focal. Then I press Ctrl S to save. So I'll close that, and then I can open this file again. Can see I don't have open what I can go to open with, so I can select here already in the context menu. I can select here open with, okay, and then just select Notepad. I want it to open with the Notepad, and you can see what we have. The box having been added there. Now another way of not coming to Vagrant file and then selecting the box that we want, we can come here, and on the init command we give the box that you want to use using the command vagrant init, and then space, and the vagrant space init space Ubuntu focal 64. So how does that one look like? So let me create another folder here, show you the same effect, and say this. I just call it test. Then go inside it, or right click, open in PowerShell, and then I will type this command vagrant init. So I'll copy this, and then I can be able to paste it there. Control V to paste. Hit enter, and the expectation is that on this directory, the test directory, you can see the directory here, test. The expectation is that this command vagrant space init space Ubuntu / focal 64 will create a vagrant file that has the box already added as Ubuntu / focal 64. Okay, so now it has finished. Now let me open this file. So select open with, then I'll select Notepad, You can see that file has been that particular box has been added there. So now that we have that particular Vagrant file, I can type the command Vagrant app. So the command Vagrant app, what it will do is that it will check to confirm. It will check whether the box already exists, whether it has been fetched earlier. And what do I mean? It will check whether this box already exists. If not, then it will fetch it. It will fetch it from Vagrant app, one of the boxes that it will fetch it from Vagrant app here, and you can see it's saying bringing machine default app with a VirtualBox provider, and then once it fetches that particular box, then we will SSH to it and confirm that indeed we are running Ubuntu. We are running Ubuntu, the Ubuntu, the Ubuntu distro, specifically Ubuntu 20.4. So as I mentioned earlier, you can see the provider is VirtualBox, and you can see this is where it is going to fetch the distro from, and it has already begun the download process. Since this box file is a little bit big, I'm going to post the video and then get back to it once the download process is complete. All right, welcome back. So the download is complete, and as you can see, uh, it has as you can see, it says Vagrant currently configured to create VirtualBox. Since folders with shared folders, symlink create enabled, and it has given a couple of options, whereby if Vagrant Get is not trusted, then you can disable the option, and you can also be able to disable the option using an environmental variable. So I'm going to copy this. Since I might need it, okay, I'm going to copy that one, have it there, and then scroll down. You can see the configurations file, everything that Vagrant has done, up the point of adding SSH environment, the username that has been added to the boot, the username that has been added to the box itself, and then it has also shared the folder. So share the folder that is inside the box Vagrant with this folder, test folder that we had created earlier, where the where the Vagrant file currently exists. So it's here under test. This is the file. So this is the folder test that has been shared. So now I'm going to run the command Vagrant status. Okay. Vagrant status to check the status of a current machine, because right now from here you can't tell whether that particular box that you have launched using the Vagrant app command is currently running. So you can use the Vagrant status to check on it, or you can launch VirtualBox here, and I launch VirtualBox. And when you launch VirtualBox, you will see the new the new VM VM machine that has been added. So giving it a few moments for this command and the VirtualBox to run. So if you have a more powerful machine, this command should have completed and VirtualBox should have launched. But I'm running an i3 with 4 gigs of RAM, and my processor speed is 1.7 clock speed. So that's why you can see it's taking a little bit of some time. If yeah, if you're going to get a more powerful machine, I highly advise that you do. So you can see this machine. It's a 64-bit machine indicated here. Can see that it's an Ubuntu. If I just click on that one to give me the details, you can see that the base memory, that is the RAM, is 1024. This is basically 1 GB. Okay, 1 GB of RAM, and you have additional details here. So you can see it has been assigned 40 gigs, 40 gigs of RAM. Sorry, 40 gigs of disk space. So if I was to come here and I go to PC and check on this space, you can see there some of the space has been used up by the virtual machine. And then what else can you tell from here? You can see it has been given networking ability by this particular adapter. So NAT kind of a bridge. There's one shared folder. Okay, the shared folder is this Vagrant test. That's the shared folder. And then it doesn't have any description that was given by Vagrant as it was running. So now here, the Vagrant status command is complete. Now you can see the current state of machine default, it's running and it's running on VirtualBox. So the VM is running. You can stop this VM by running the command vagrant halt to simply shut it down forcefully, or suspend the virtual machine. So I want to SSH inside the VM. So to do that, I use the command vagrant SSH. Okay. So vagrant SSH should get me inside this VM. Okay, inside this Ubuntu that we have added. So waiting for it to complete. And if at all it runs into an issue, it will give me, when running this command, it will give me that particular item there. Now there are cases whereby when you run the command vagrant app, that it terminates before it completes the download and running of the machine. Now such cases could be whereby you have issues to do with disk space. Okay, so that's why I said you have as much disk space as possible. Earlier I mentioned you have at least 30, but you can see in my case it has taken at least 40 gigs. So meaning that the best space you need to have to be able to the best disk space, or a free disk space you need to have, is at least 100 gigs. Now the Vagrant SSH has completed running, and you can see at the welcome screen you can see that it's Ubuntu 20.04, the long-term release or long-term support. And it tells, you can see here usage has used 3.5% of the 8.71 gigahertz. It's also given me the current assigned IP address, and I can also use the command uname. So uname is basically Uname basically tells you, when you issue command uname, it just tell you what kind of OS you are running. You can see right now it's the Linux OS. So, and you know it's Ubuntu. Uh, that's all for this video. It was a little bit long, but we have been able to go through the installation process of VirtualBox, of Vagrant. We have used Cwine to make sure that we have the OpenSSH package installed that has enabled us to do to SSH inside our VM. If you like the video, kindly like, and if not yet subscribed, give me your support by hitting the subscribe button. See you in the next video.